All right, guys, we are finally here. Okay, now I have been waiting for this ever since I heard about it. And I just can't wait to see where they're going to go with the series. All right, so you guys are going to notice that the upload order is going to be out of sync, right? We're going to have Original Sin uploading at the same time as reactions to Resurrection. Alright. Just know those were recorded months ago. Okay. So I have just been burnt out on editing, and I just needed to take a break. And plus, there wasn't really anyone, you know, commenting saying that we need to keep going. We need to keep, putting out more videos, right? Reactions to Original Sin. That wasn't happening, right? So when that doesn't happen, especially with a TV show like that, where it's like hours and hours and hours of editing, right? And I just let it go. They're still there. There are some really good conversations, some deep philosophical and ethical dilemmas and questions that I bring up in those reactions. Okay. So if you guys want to see them, you know what I'm saying? Put in the comments and let me know you want to see what my opinions are about Original Sin. Okay, because we dived deep into it over there. We dived real deep, right? And it got real uncomfortable with some of the things I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it speaks to human behavior, human emotion, all these other things, right? So let's go ahead and check this out. Now, hopefully, we are going to have some flashbacks, some call outs, some clarifications on things, right? So let's go and check this out, y'all. Let's see where they're going to go with this, right? I just can't believe Beatrix Kiddo is joining the Dexter universe. Okay, that is just unreal, right? And if we go beyond this season, then it makes me wonder who else is going to join. Okay. Now, I'll tell you one character that would be ridiculous, okay, but also kind of makes sense to have in Dexter, right? And that is the Punisher. Why not have the Punisher in Dexter, right? The Punisher's whole thing was people who deserve to die should. There you go. He's just like Dexter, right? He just doesn't have the same, methodical approach to it, right? He just finds the bad guys and he wipes them out. Simple as that. And so I think that would be real interesting, because they have a lot of the same, characteristics and backstory. It's a lot different, but it also has some similarities, you know, tragedies occurring to people they care about drove them to a point of madness to where they go scorched earth, and anyone who is bad and resembles that type of mentality that would hurt innocent people, they're part of the problem and they need to go. That's just the way it is. So the Punisher, you heard it here, is just like Dexter, just with a lot of differences, but the mentality and the way they operate is kind of similar.
3, 2, 1, clear!
No pulse, recharging.
3.
This is interesting.
Not yet.
Right off the bat, we get the Trinity Killer. Okay, this is gonna be pure insanity. Okay, I can already tell the way they're setting this up. All right, they're not gonna drag this thing out like a lot of shows do, where they make us wait like until episode 6 or 7 before we start to see anything interesting, right? And Dexter's one of those shows. Sometimes they do that, right? But here, like, we're getting right into it. Let's go.
And your son wouldn't have been left to sit in a pool of his own mother's blood.
Horrible.
Just like you were the same age.
Here we go.
Yours is a lonely
At Dokes.
path, my friend.
Yo, do we see Dokes? Rita? I don't know if we saw Dokes. We might have. Dokes might have been in the background. Okay. Alright, who is this? Oh, is this Harrison? It is. Please go away. Look, you know, I hate to be the guy that just joins the bandwagon, right? But I got to on this. Most people find him annoying, and I do as well. He's got to go. All right. No. No, Harris. Get out of here, please. What? Oh, wait. No, I think he's pretending. He's trying to get secret access to somewhere. He's not really... What's going on here? What are you doing, Harrison? Huh? Are you planning to kill? Did you take up Dexter's code? Is that what you did? You monster. What is happening? Are we finally going to see Harrison's Dark Passenger? You know, like Dexter sees, like, what are they? Like ghost spirits? And he just imagines how they would interact with him, right? And I'm still confused about that whole thing, right? So, like, does Dexter understand that this is his imagination? That he's not actually talking to people that are gone, okay? Or in the universe, is that actually happening, right? So is that a reality that their spirits come back to, you know, to haunt him, to trigger him, right? To, you know, tell him I was right all along. You just couldn't listen, like what the Trinity Killer was trying to tell you, right? So is that actually happening, or is this just Dexter's imagination? Because if it's his imagination, at some point he should come to terms with that and say, none of that stuff was real. I was having conversations with myself. You know, I think he did mention that before, didn't he? I'm not for sure. It's been a while since I've, like, watched the whole series. I watch a lot of reactions to Dexter, okay? There's quite a few channels that are just starting the journey. They're in, like, the second season, right? And there's two channels that I want to mention because they're both, like, on par. It's so unreal that these two, I think, unrelated channels are doing almost the same thing, right? And they're at the same point in the journey. So, and they uploaded similar patterns too. Double drops, right? So we have Amber Reacts, who is in season 2, like a little bit more than halfway, I think, right? And she does double drops, so she'll do one video and then she'll do another one. They upload like pretty much right at the same time, which is amazing. I love that so much. You know, she has such an amazing personality. I love her accent, and I love her commentary, right, on the show, right, and how, like, insane it is, right? So definitely go check her out. And then there's another channel I want to mention too, the Modern Nomads. Okay, I love those guys. I just started watching them when they started doing Dexter reactions. That's when it showed up on my timeline, right? Anytime I see a Dexter reaction, I save it. I'm like, I'm gonna check this out at some point. Okay, now look, both of those channels, like I said, are on par with each other, and it's unreal. And I just keep thinking, like, is there a connection there? Because I want to know. There has to be, right? Because the Modern Nomads, they do double drops, but they put both episodes in the same video, right? But the point is that both of those channels and their journey are almost at the same exact point, okay?
Rescuing you was not one of them.
I can think of a few people who might disagree.
A few murderers, you mean?
A few good people, too. I
Yep.
was never there for Harris.
Can't ignore that.
When he showed up in Iron, he didn't have a mother either. Because of you.
So, this is going to get real interesting, right? In my reactions to Original Sin, I brought up a lot of these issues with Harry. Okay? So I can't go into detail about that because, you know, I don't want to spoil the commentary too much, right? But I will say I did go into great detail expelling some theories and different things like that. So let's keep going.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Here he is, Dokes.
Isn't there some rule about these things ending
Dokes
after the
is
third
here.
ghost?
This conversation needs to happen.
Yes.
I already.
No, I was wrong. Buried down deep, real deep, past all that fucked up Bay Harbor butcher shit, is a kernel of good.
So here's the thing. I think what they're getting ready to go into is going to be so damn interesting. Okay? Dokes didn't play by the rules either. Right? Go back and watch the first season. Look at what happens after Dokes shoots that guy. Right? Shoots him. And we see him laying there. And there's no gun. We see him laying there on the ground and there's no gun next to him. All of a sudden, when the investigators get there, guess what? There is a gun there. Okay? So, it's obvious what happened. It's obvious. It's just not explicitly said. Go back and watch it and see for yourself. Right? He's laying on the ground, no gun. Investigators are there, there's a gun. Okay? So that means when Batista got there, there was also no gun there yet. Because it had just happened seconds before Batista got there. So that means Batista helped Dokes plant that gun from somewhere, right? And said that was his gun, that he shot the gun. Okay? So it's a real messed up situation, right? Also, one last thing I want to point out. What about mistaken identity, Dokes? How do you know, especially after many, many, many years, you know, you could easily see someone walking down the street and think, this is that guy. A lot of people look similar to other people, right? Like, look at how many times we'll see an actor in a movie or a TV show and we'll think, hey, I know that actor. He was in this other thing. And then you go and look, and he wasn't. Right? He just looked similar to that other person. Okay? And especially after many years, come on, Dokes. You can't... That might not have been anyone that was guilty of anything, Dokes. And why did you shoot him? That's what I want to know, Dokes. Why did you shoot him? I hope we're going to see more of Dokes. Okay, we have to. Right? And LaGuerta, we gotta see LaGuerta. We gotta see Deb. I know some reactors don't like Deb. I like Deb. I think she is annoying sometimes. I think her personality is overblown sometimes, but, you know, I still like Deb. Deb is a messed up person, okay? And you will see why I go in on Deb a lot in my Original Sin reactions. That's like a really in-depth breakdown and analysis and theory crafting of why her personality was so chaotic. He's finally awake. So here's what I don't understand. Everyone should know that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, right? So as soon as he's awake, that should be like investigators should be right there, okay? And he should have been in handcuffs the whole time. He should have been. He should have been handcuffed to the damn bed. That's typical protocol, but typical protocol doesn't exist in these shows. And right back to Harris.
Harrison, is she okay? Hey.
This is not starting off good. Uh, a resurrection. It's not. We don't want to see Harris. Okay. I I saw someone else say, if Harrison's gonna be here, Dexter better find him and kill him in the first episode. Look, to the actor that plays Harrison, okay, it's not against you. You do good playing the character, right? But it's the character we don't like. The character is insane, is completely chaotic, just like Deb, okay? And it comes off as annoying, it comes off as bratty, as I don't know what else. It's just a bunch of stuff. We don't like this type of character. Show some maturity, and maybe we'll start to take you serious, okay? But throwing temper tantrums, being bratty, acting like, the world needs to just understand, like, everything that's wrong with you and just accept it as normal. Like him breaking that kid's arm, right, in the wrestling match, and then still expecting to be, able to still participate. What is wrong with you? You exhibited an extreme amount of violence, right? And you shouldn't be allowed anywhere near an activity like that for a very long time. Like, that is, he should have went to jail or juvie, right? For doing that. That's crazy. You can't do stuff like that. No. Are you serious, Harrison? I think I see where this is going to go. And if it goes there, resurrection, this is bad. Okay? Look, if Harrison has adopted the code but incorporated it to cheaters, adulterers, different things like that, warrants murder, okay, warrants them to be killed, Dexter's gonna have to kill his own damn son. That's what's gonna fucking happen. Resurrection. What are you doing to us? Please don't do that. Don't. Don't. This is crazy. Look at him.
Wasn't that Drake?
You got me. We just met at the bar. She and I are gonna have some.
Oh. So is that guy planning on actually killing that lady? Is that what's happening? Okay. If that's what's happening, and Harrison's gonna stop it and actually do something good, right? Then it's going in a better direction.
She won't even remember what happened.
Okay, so it's not going in a horrible direction, right? So he is actually trying to protect her. And man, I did not think that's where we were going. I figured, he's looking out for her, that guy that's with her. He's going to get her in the room and he's going to let her go to sleep, right? Sleep it off. That's what a decent human being would do. But to try to take advantage of her like that, this is, wow. I get the code. You need to be a killer. But I think maybe it needs to go beyond that. Because if you're willing to take advantage of someone like that, maybe you do fit the damn code. Okay, Harrison. Go to work. I can't believe I'm rooting for Harrison right now. But I am. Beat the tar out of that person. Oh, yeah. Yeah, look. Here's the thing. It's what I just realized. Like I said, a person like that just might fit the code. And I think they definitely do. And here's why. The the bridge in logic that Harrison just went to is understandable. Because when you're willing to take advantage of someone like that, at some point, you know, that evolves into what we just seen in the flashback. It evolves into that type of violence. It really does. And it can. And it has. A lot of times, you know, when women are killed, it happens because, you know, they were assaulted and that person didn't want them to talk. This person here that Harrison is attacking fits that to a T. If he isn't actually like silencing them permanently yet, that is in the evolution of his crimes and what he's doing. Okay, so I think he definitely fits the code. He fits the code, Harrison. This is a bad person. I cannot believe what we're seeing. Okay, Harrison is going all in on the code, apparently. Right? I like it. I like the direction they're going. You know, because if Dexter was still going to be a whiny little twerp, okay, and, you know, doing horrible things against innocent people that didn't do anything wrong, that's when I have a problem with Harrison. Okay, being a bully, right? So that's what I didn't like. And I think a lot of people caught on to that. And it's like you're just taking your anchor out on other people who didn't do anything wrong to you, right? I can't believe how much they're showing. Okay, I think they're taking cues from Original Sin, where they're just going to show it, right? Not explicitly the act happening to Dexter's mom, but showing the aftermath. That was horrible. Okay, I felt like sickened, you know, for several days. I was just horrified. Okay, and man, wait, no, what's he doing? He's gonna put him where? What are you doing, Harris? Huh? You need a boat, buddy. Oh, for the trash? This could go horribly wrong, Harrison. If one of those bags has a tiny little hole in it and it starts leaking blood, those trash men are going to see that and it's going to open an investigation, buddy. Just don't have the stomach for it. Why do they not know that he's actually the Bay Harbor Butcher? Oh, here she is, right? It has to be. Come on, Angela. Is it Angela? No, it's not.
Hey there.
I don't think.
They arresting you for the murder of Matt Caldwell. Obviously, it turned out his dad. Well,
What? I'm blown away. I'm speechless. So Angela knows that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, but she's like, oh, I'm sorry for accidentally, you know. Wasn't it proven that he killed her friend? He killed the other officer, and she knew that. So what's happening? What are you doing here, Resurrection? What are you doing?
we don't have a lot of resources, but I have to enforce justice. So,
Okay. What's that mean?
do you want to press charges against the Iron Lake Sheriff's Department for Chief Angela Bishop shooting you?
No.
So, Angela shot him? Oh my goodness. This is unreal. You know, I really thought what we were going to get was detectives coming and questioning him meeting up with Angela to go over, you know, his trial, to go over, you know, his Miranda rights, informing him that he is now under arrest, okay? and he needs to get a lawyer, right? So, or at least ask, in the Miranda rights. Are you requesting a lawyer at this time? That's what should happen, right? And then at some point, he is Dexter, so in this universe, of course, he's going to escape. That's what I thought we were going to get with this show, right? Was Dexter being on the run, getting a new identity in a new town. There we go. But no, he just gets off without anyone realizing what happened. Except for Angela. So, maybe Angela bought his story after all, after everything that happened? Wow. So, the super cop ain't so super after all. This show is weird. I do not believe in suspicion of disbelief, right? We can enjoy the story, we can admire the storytelling and everything else, but we still have to acknowledge when things are unrealistic. Okay? All of those bags would be crushed. That's what happens inside of a garbage truck. Wow.
Do you know where this trash came from?
Yes.
Why are you saying it like you're asking it?
Because he's not sure.
Then just say no.
The truck the garbage came from has hundreds of stops, thousands of bags.
Oh, I just love this commentary. I love it so much when things like that are pointed out, when someone has that sharp wit about them. I love that.
What's her deal?
She sees things in ways we don't.
Oh, no.
Watch and learn, officers.
Surely some of you guys have seen Monk. I think she's going to be like Monk. Now, look. Monk is a weird show. I'm just going to put it out there. It's a weird show. A lot of times it's cringy as hell. Okay? When Monk tries to do things that he shouldn't be trying to do. Okay? It's weird. Okay? And it's awkward. But at the same time, you just have to appreciate his awkward character.
Dexter, please.
He
let
really
this be
here?
another hallucination.
So we're finally getting some solid information about his interactions with people that are gone, right? So he's now acknowledging that they're probably hallucinations. And now he's questioning reality from hallucinations. So that is so interesting, right? So it's like a state of psychosis. So the question is Batista really here? And I hope so. Batista has to be here, damn it. Batista was one that knows LaGuerta suspected him of being the Bay Harbor Butcher. Then Angela told him, basically, I think, that he was the Bay Harbor Butcher. Did she not? I don't remember.
Intimated that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Go. Here we go, y'all. So, I think Batista is fishing. I think Batista knows this is a real possibility. Okay. And I don't know what is getting ready to happen. This is going to be crazy.
Maria told me, in confidence, that she was certain that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Uh-oh.
Crazy, huh? Insane. But then Maria was killed.
Come on, Batista. Spill the beads. Let it out. You know what I'm saying? You can't ignore that as a coincidence. You just can't. Okay? You gotta look at Dokes, and then you gotta look at LaGuerta. Both of them, when they came out and spoke publicly that something was wrong with Dexter, they were killed. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. You gotta bring up Dokes too. Dokes was saying the same thing, right?
Fucking A, it was tough. But we all know that the Bay Harbor Butcher was Dokes, right?
No, we don't know that because he
What
wasn't.
used to call you?
Harrison gonna get caught? We know how impulsive Harrison is, right? So is Harrison going to, you know, act and look suspicious right off the bat? Because if he does, they're gonna zone in on him really quick.
They found the body parts cut up into 9 pieces. Can you imagine?
Whoops.
9 pieces.
Mm-hmm. Living on the res can...
Dexter's gonna know. He's gonna know for a fact that this is Harrison adopting his freaking code.
Crazy white men running around chopping up bodies. No offense. Serial killers always seem to be white men. Just a fact.
No offense taken.
Guess I shouldn't talk about it.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Resurrection, for pointing this out. Okay? Man, look, you know, I should have expected this, right? Because Dexter, starting with New Blood, started incorporating real world issues and problems, right? Like what was that drug called? It was a drug that like is exploding and is hurting a lot of people, and they brought that into it, right? And I don't remember what it was called, but I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, they brought in like social issues into the plot. So I think that's what we're going to get. So guess what? That's what we're going to talk about, right? They brought it up, so we're going to talk about it. A lot of people bring up 1350 like that is the absolute fact, okay? And here's the thing about 1350. When you bring it up and you assert it as fact, and you don't give any clarification as to why you think that is the case, okay, it is implied that different races of people are more or less likely to be criminals. Okay, that is why it is really important. If you're going to talk about statistics and stereotypes and everything else, you have to be clear on why you think that is the case. All right? Because if not, it easily comes off as black people are more likely to be criminals. If that's not true at all. Like, if a white person grows up in the same type of area that a lot of crime happens in black neighborhoods, okay, guess what? That white person is going to be doing the same crap. You know, he's still going to look for a gang he can join, because a lot of gangs won't take him because he's white. But there are, I'm sure, some gangs that, you know, would accept him, right? And because he's in that type of society, and gang activity for a lot of people is the only way to survive, guess what? He's going to join a gang if he can. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to happen. He's going to be doing the same crap. If it's not a gang, then he's going to be, you know, trying to get prescriptions from doctors. He's going to try to sell that. He's going to try and, you know, get drugs and sell those. He's going to do something to try and survive. This is not a race issue when it comes to crime rates. It's not. This is a issue of society being broken, right? When someone is ready and willing to work, but can't because there's no available jobs, or because they've had a bad history, or because of whatever else, that's a broken society. That person should be able to find a job somewhere, okay? If he applies and he gets denied, that employer, if they really wanted to benefit society, should help that person and say, you know, we can't hire you, but this place over here, they might. So let's incorporate something where that employer could say, let's take your application, right? And for you, we're going to send this off to other companies around the area, okay? And then if any of them are accepting your application and give you interviews, they will call you, right? It's that simple. That would solve so many problems, right? But you also have to add available jobs, and you also have to find a way to enforce anti-discrimination laws. Simple as that. Those are the real issues. It's not about race, right? Sometimes it is. Let me clarify that, okay? That doesn't mean race is irrelevant, because sometimes people are discriminated against based on race. Sometimes people are brutalized because of race, okay? In those situations, race is relevant, and it is important to talk about it. It is important to say this happened because of race and racism, and we should encourage people to stop thinking along these lines. And that 1350 thing, guess what? That encourages that type of crime. It encourages people to discriminate based on race. That's the point that I was trying to make when I said, if you're going to talk about statistics like that, you have to clarify why you think that is the case. Because if you're saying 1350 is real and it's a fact, but it is because of societal issues, right? And economic issues and other things like that, and that black people are discriminated against more often, and that is why they're arrested more. That's why they are over policed. That's why all these other things are going on. Then I would say, okay, now your statement starts to hold some weight, because now you're incorporating real issues into the conversation. But if your entire argument is just to say, look at black people differently because a lot of them are criminals, that's not okay. Just like I can say a lot of serial killers tend to be white men, right? That is a fact. Does that mean that we should treat white people differently because, oh, well, you're probably a serial killer? No. That is like the opposite of what that should tell you. What that should tell you is that it comes down to culture, right? That's what it really boils down to. A lot of white people go into some really harmful tactics when we're raising children, okay? And I think that environment that a lot of white people do, okay, the drug use during pregnancy, and it comes at higher rates, I think, in white communities. It really does. And I think that is why there's a lot more mental health issues amongst white people, right? That doesn't mean we're all like that. That means some of us, okay? It just means it's more common to see abuse to that level, okay, amongst white people. So there's a lot of different things you got to look at, right? You got to look at assault. You got to look at domestic violence, domestic disturbance. You got to look at all of these things, and you will see that a lot of most of the percentages, right, are going to be amongst white people, right? So that's the core issue right there. I think that is why I think that explains why when we're talking about specifically serial killers and mass shooters and things like that, that's why we see a lot of them are white. Okay. Now, does that mean I'm racist against white people? No. The reason why is because I don't associate the bad white people with everyone else, right? We're not putting everyone in the same basket saying you're all the same. Just like the serial killers. We don't put all of them in the same basket and say you're all the same. You all did everything you did for the same reason. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay? Each one of those serial killers stand on their own terms. They have their own issues. They have their own mental health struggles, and that needs to be studied. And why do we need to study it? so we can try to fix societies and prevent abuse and prevent drug use during pregnancies. These things would help create a situation to where those type of people start to fade out a little bit more. That's the core issue. So race isn't inherently the problem. That's essentially what I want to get across here. All right, so let's keep going. Hopefully I've explained that clearly enough. If I haven't, put in the comments and let me know. We can have a conversation about it. This is not coming from a place of racism. Okay, I've been accused of that before, right? Because I pointed out that a lot of the serial killers we see are white men. That's not a racist thing, you know? It's not. That is a statement of fact, not a statement of racism.
Harrison took my truck. I need a car.
Okay, if he disappears from that hospital, right, I think he's going to start looking more guilty to Batista. He has to. Batista has to start putting this together and saying, wait a minute. So many people from my past has accused Dexter of being a killer, of being a creep, a psycho. Come on, Batista. Uma Thurman? It is. It has to be. Beatrix Kiddo. Here we go. So look. In Warframe, you can rename your swords, right? Your Zaws, what they're called. And I have a Zaw, and I called it a Tori Hanzo sword. Just to show you guys, I might find a picture of that and show you what it looks like, right? A Tori Hanzo sword. So, that just goes to show how much I love Kill Bill. That's an amazing movie, you know, and that character fits in really well with this. So, it would be amazing if they blend those two universes together, right? Like, Uma Thurman is Beatrix Kiddo in this universe, right? Because what Beatrix Kiddo did in Kill Bill is, again, very similar to what Dexter does. You know, very similar to season 5 when they were going after all those predators, right? So, very interesting. Found something. Is she like Dexter? No way. I think she's doing Dexter's work right now. I think she might be vetting someone to see if they fit the code. Is that what's going on? It can't be. Okay, so we don't know who Rice Freddy is, but she calls him a psycho, right? And it kind of looks like she might be vetting this guy. All they found was multiple IDs, I think, and a lot of money. So, why is that a big deal? Why does that make him a psycho? I mean, it kind of does, but not in the sense that he's a killer. There was no evidence that he's a killer. What is this interaction going to be like? You know what I'm saying? Is Harrison going to finally get that? I don't know. Harrison wasn't wrong. Dexter did kill that officer, right? Who was innocent. He didn't deserve that. So Harrison wasn't wrong for what he did. You know what I'm saying? He was following the code. So Dexter should understand that. You followed the code. You tried to kill a killer, right? It's that simple.
I can't cry.
Because he's afraid to show his emotion. Want to know what that is? Toxic masculinity. Okay, it's exactly what that is. And a lot of people, man, they fall for it hard. You know, oh, you can't be a real man if you cry. Really? You're gonna tell me there's no situation you could think of that would cause a man to cry? Get out of here with that. Really. Okay, Resurrection. Okay, I see what you're doing here. Good setup. You already brought back Batista. That was something so many people got so mad, and myself included, from New Blood. When we thought we were going to have, you know, Batista nailing Dexter to the wall, because that's what needs to happen, right? Alright, that's going to conclude the first episode, y'all. It takes me time to edit and put out videos, right? So, if you want to see videos come out more often, put it in the comments and let me know and say, hey, you got to keep putting out videos. We're waiting, right? Alright, hopefully, if you made it this far, I will see you in the next episode, because that's what we're getting ready to record right now.